This beef is so melt in the mouth, but the spice that's wrapped around it from the curry sauce or that soup for this khao soi is incredible. My version of a beef khao soi. Hey guys, Jeremy here from School of Wok, London's premier Asian cookery school. It is indeed Wok Wednesday, and it's a Thai style Wok Wednesday because this one is sponsored by our friends Monsoon Valley Wines, and we'll talk more about them later. Straight into the curry though, because this dish is, it's a noodle soup dish, but it's really a base of really lovely Thai red curry. We're going to start with the paste. Now you might think that making a Thai curry paste from scratch is a lot of hassle. There's quite a lot of ingredients in it, but a lot of these ingredients you can buy and freeze as they are. So these lime leaves, great frozen. When they defrost, then they come out really lovely and fresh and fragrant. And then once I've actually made my paste, whatever you've got left over, just put onto a tray and freeze. And then you can use it as and when. I'm going to use all these ingredients here for my curry paste. And it's essentially a red curry paste where the red colour is mainly going to come from these dry red chillies. They've been soaking in hot water for about 10-15 minutes. The rest of the ingredients, I've got some fresh red chillies, again, for added colour and sort of sweeter chilli flavour. I've got here, this is really cool, some Thai garlic, and they're a little bit smaller cloves than your sort of everyday Western garlic. The skin itself is really lovely and sweet and quite soft as well. You can use the skin in the paste as you go. Some lemongrass. We'll bash that, finely chopped. Galangal, that sort of Thai, sweeter ginger. Doesn't quite hit the back of your throat like classic ginger does. And some fresh turmeric that will accentuate the red colour. Some Thai Shallots, and then some coriander root, which really has a lot of good sort of earthy flavour in it. And then my lime leaves, and some spices here, some coriander seeds, and cumin seeds. I'm going to crush those into the paste as well, along with some shrimp paste. Oh, you can smell that a mile away. So everything for the paste needs to be really finely chopped before it goes into the pestle and mortar, and then bash away. It'd probably take about 15-20 minutes just to bash it. You could also do it in a food processor if you wish. So the only way forward with this is brute force. Pestle and mortar, 20 minutes, you get this lovely paste. It's kind of like a coarse paste, but it should be smooth enough that it's kind of all one. I've got some great looking beef here. This is beef leg or skirt or shin. Any sort of slow cooked secondary cut of beef is good for this. Of course, you can get chicken khao soi as well. I love the sort of slow cooked beef curry for this. What you want is your meat to have some nice sort of small bits of marbling in there, and little sort of pieces of fat are also good for it. That'll sear nicely into that paste in a second. This dish is essentially a curried noodle soup, and so you want to start off by making the curry. You want a fair bit of oil to cook the paste. You want the oil to be really nice and hot before you add the paste. Then you can turn the heat down once it's in, but I quite like that initial sort of sizzle of the paste before you then start to sort of simmer down a little and enjoy the sort of slower cooking process of the curry. Now I've used about sort of 4 heaped tablespoons of the paste. You can use as much as you want really, or as little as you want, depending on how much heat you want. But the thing for me is that you really want that nice sort of almost orangey red colour, which is why I use a fair bit of the paste. As I said, any paste that's left over, you can just spread onto a plate or a tray and then cover it and whack it in the freezer, then break it up into little bits and use it from frozen to cook another curry or a stir fry with red curry paste. Don't waste the stuff, especially when you put all that energy into it. And this is where a lot of people perhaps don't put the patience into cooking a curry like this. When you're frying your paste, it's going to take at least sort of 5, 6, possibly even 7 or 8 minutes. You want to cook the paste through until the rawness comes out of it and you don't smell that sort of grassy aroma. That's when you know that the paste is sort of cooked and you sort of brought all the flavour out. Now the paste has got that sort of caramelised colour to it and it's smelling like it's really cooked through. I'm going to add my whole lime leaves and I've got some black cardamom here, which will sort of really work with that earthy base flavour. With that, I'm going to start to fry my beef, my diced beef, into the paste. There's so many different ways of doing this. Sometimes people add the coconut milk first and then put the beef in, but I quite like sort of searing the beef into the paste and the flavour sort of really wrapping around each piece of beef. Now there's nothing fast about making this dish. Take your time, enjoy every sort of layer of flavour that you're adding to this. The coconut milk goes in a little bit at a time. You want it to be able to sort of bubble up and almost sort of the solids to separate out from the oils over time, which is why we gradually add the coconut milk. And this dish would have originated in the north of Thailand, and the first ever sort of versions of this wouldn't have had coconut milk in it. But over time, food changes, and the relatively modern addition, I think, sort of sits better with the international audience, and it's made an amazing, absolutely delicious dish. Coconut milk, bit by bit. I've got some seasoning to add to this, but I'm not going to add that until later on, until the end. All I've got here is some chicken stock, and as I say, if it was just sort of a standard curry, you wouldn't add the stock to it, but I'm making more of a curried noodle soup. So you need that stock in there to sort of keep it thin enough. Now, from here, you want to bring it to boil and then turn it down to simmer. Once it's simmering, let it simmer for at least 3 hours. You might want to cover it with a lid. So with that wait, it's a perfect time for a glass of wine. Thanks to Monsoon Valley. Now, my curried soup has been bubbling away for a good 3 to 4 hours. And look at the colour of that. I'm going to season this with fish sauce and palm sugar. The palm sugar will accentuate the sweetness of the coconut milk. And the fish sauce, obviously there for that classic Thai saltiness. That was like 3-4 spoons of fish sauce. I'm going to put 1 spoon of palm sugar in. I don't want this to be too sweet. Just let that melt in. And as I said earlier, this is a curried soup. I'm going to show you this beef after this slow cooking process and how tender it is. Just a sort of gentle press of the fork and you can see it's just all falling apart. And that's exactly how you want it. I've got these pickled vegetables here, which you can just buy in an Asian supermarket. I'm going to top the noodles up with. And so all I have to do now is essentially finish off the noodle part of the curried noodle soup. I've got these wonton noodles that you can buy from an Asian supermarket. You could just use egg noodles or some wheat noodles, whatever you find really. But the classic khao soi has always got some fried noodles on top. So I've got some oil here. I'm going to deep fry this sort of handful of noodles in. And it doesn't take long at all to crisp these guys up. Look at that. How much fun is that? Once they'd had sort of lost their fizz, then they're going to be really crispy. And then the rest of the noodles are for the actual sort of noodle dish. I'd highly recommend boiling them in just boiling water on a rolling boil rather than into the curry sauce, because the starch will then sort of just remain in the water as opposed to go into the curry. And once these noodles are floating at the top of the water, they're ready. Literally a minute will do. Straight in to your serving bowl, and then the rest is easy. You just got to serve it up. Generous portion of the beef, and then a whole load of that lovely stock, that curried soup. We've got this pickled veg, and then these crispy noodles. You can see how much they puffed up just from that quick deep fry. They just get piled right on top, like so. Something simple like that just completely elevates the dish. Some coriander, and in a nice slow fashion, you've got your homemade khao soi. Now we pair this with exactly the same wine as they pair it with in Monsoon Valley Wines restaurant over in Hua Hin. And this is their premium range Shiraz, my favorite of them all, personally. We drank this straight from the barrel at the winery, and it was just delicious. And it goes really well with lovely sort of spicy, hearty dishes like this. And there's so much flavour in that stock. And with that pickled veg, the crispy noodles, and the soup. Let's try and get some soup. I don't want to talk to you guys anymore. This is too good. Let's try that now. Together with the wine, you get this lovely sort of all-rounded, perfect, lingering sort of spice from that chili paste or that curry paste. If you want to learn how to balance your Asian dishes like we do here at School of Wok, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ding, hit that notification bell, and of course, a massive thanks to Monsoon Valley Wines.